It's 8 o'clock. I will call the transit meeting for June 15th of 2022 to order. Roll call. We have everyone. Oh, we got Brian's here. I'm here. We got Richard Deere, Mark Thomas is here, Gary Bjork, Jerry Hartung. We're missing John Menz and Darren Wiki.
John Menz is online.
Oh, John's online now? All right, John is here. So we do have a quorum.
Yes, we do.
Approval of minutes.
Move we approve. Second.
Been moved and approved. Second. Oh, any,
Second.
we got a second?
It's been second.
Yeah, second. The only changes I have is Kelly McCullough and Chuck Maves wasn't here last meeting, I believe. I took April 5th there, May 15th. Any other corrections? If not, everybody approve?
Aye.
Anybody approve? Minutes approved. Public hearing none, nothing in place. Staff reports, Austin.
Transit Commission meeting. Yep. Sarah joined just now too. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Agenda for today, ridership, financials, electric bus update, staffing, around the shop, around the buses, and on the route. Ridership. We saw a bit of a decrease from the students leaving on May 11th, as well as we saw decreases in our doorstop and Red Cedar door-to-door bus service. Doorstop and Red Cedar ridership decreased to 472 in May from 585 in April, down 20%. And looking back at the month before, it was about equal in March and April. The community route ridership decreased to 515 in May from 819 in April, down 37%. But if we look at Stout's last day, Wednesday, May 11th, we still at a 23 per day rider average. And looking at last year and the summers before, we would be some days 0 and some days maybe 5 on the community bus. So I think that's huge. Comparing to previous years with the old route and with just implementing the new route on June 1st of last year. Stout route ridership was 3,118 in May, between 8 days, around 400 students per day, down from 13,500 in April from 650 a day. But even with the warm weather that we had right before graduations, the bus was still getting used pretty well, about 40% down. Financials expenses through June of what's came in so far. Sitting about 20% to the good through 6 months. One May staffing bill of around 20,000 still yet to come. Factoring that in, that brings us right around 20% still to the good. Revenue through the end of May. We got paid for our first half of the UW Stout payment, 2 payments per year. One comes in spring and then one comes in December. We were paid for that. And then we've been paid for 2 quarters of the Menominee City subsidy. So if factoring those in through 5 months, it looks at 120%, but if you put this through June, it looks at 100%. I factored this through May 31st. Because we have some outstanding AR for May, as well as a deposit every 2 weeks for our doorstop route, which would go under passenger fares.
Can I ask you a question on the, your subsidies?
Yes.
I see that it's up like 5,000 something for like the city of Menominee than what you budgeted. So does that go on a percentage of the rider? Is that how that subsidy, is it really set in stone when you make the budget? You have what,
No,
29?
it's the same every year.
Okay, but
For the past 10 years. It's the budget, if I ran this per year, it would calculate out at 25,600, but this is calculating out at 5 months, which kind of makes it look a little wonky. And to run this report through next month, it will show exactly half of whatever the annual is for the budget. Or if I ran it for the year, it would show correctly, but it's been the same.
so then whatever the budget subsidy is for Menominee, it's the same
Yep.
the whole year. It doesn't depend on
No,
percent of the ridership or anything.
nope, it's just a flat rate that we've been, around 25,650 or, about that. The same the past 10 years, just a flat rate. Good question. Through 5/31, around 3,000 outstanding in accounts receivable, checks that we have that haven't been deposited yet, and bills that are out there just for April ridership, and now May ridership. One agency we have to snail mail invoices to with authorization forms, and the other is emailed. And one we get within a week, and the other one takes a little while. So we get these out the first week of the month after it's done, and just waiting on some of those. That puts us at 77% of actual versus budget through 5 months. And what we had total in that line item in 2021 was sitting at 75% for the year actual versus budget for what we brought in for passenger fares. And June 1st of last year is when we switched over from 75 cent and $1.50 rides on the community route to free. So that extra volume and overflow going into doorstop hopefully will make up for that, which we're seeing we're on pace to do a little bit better even than last year. Electric bus update. I think this was on Friday, the last Friday in May. I had a call with WisDOT, Xcel Energy, and the bus manufacturer. Like we talked about last meeting, the 60 kilowatt charger was delivered. The 30 kilowatt charger we thought was shipping in the next 30 to 60 days. And they thought they could transfer over one that was already made from a different location. That I've yet to hear a solid ship date answer. And then when we last talked, we thought the electric bus timeline was the next 30 to 60 days. And then in that meeting, they told us now December to January. So I'd like to quit relaying information that changes every month, but don't shoot the messenger kind of thing. And that's where we're at, and happy that Xcel put this meeting together for us, and glad to get an update straight from the source. Whenever that 30 kilowatt charger gets delivered, or we have a ship date on that, we will set a semi-concrete date in stone when they can, Xcel can install them both on the same day. Staffing. Everything is the same, other than we lost one driver to medical leave, potentially till mid-August. Hopefully they come back, or they can move up their date on when they can come back, but if not, we were pretty short-staffed with the group we had this last semester, so ideally we would like to have 7, not 5. Drivers, we are sitting perfect for the summer with what we've gone down to on routes, but we would not like to get to August when Stout comes back and be sitting where we are at. It's a balancing act. Summer, you don't have enough work for people, and fall, you have too much if you have the same amount of staff for each. So with us being at this part of the presentation, an idea came up to potentially put 8x11, maybe a little bit bigger vinyl graphic on the back of the bus or the side of the bus saying, come drive with us, something of that sort. These buses are going all day, every day. Potentially nothing very gaudy, but something that says, hey, we're looking for drivers. Would anybody be opposed to anything like that? They're not permanent. You could take them off anytime you wanted, or even these are fiberglass buses, so magnets wouldn't work either. But anyways, pretty cost-effective way for a $20 per vinyl, whatever it would be to get this out there. A lot of times we use social media. We have a staffing agency that's supposed to staff our transit, but a lot of times I'm posting on social media with boosted posts, but a lot of times that doesn't reach the demographic we're trying to reach.
Right.
So,
I think it'd be a good idea.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have. Is there a, like a state rule, or do we have a rule in place that, with advertisement on the bus? Like, is that a creative way that could be looked at to subsidize generating more funds for a future bus, maintenance, staffing, improvements, whatever? I mean, you see it all over the place at other venues, you sell advertising. Could be a yearly rate, a monthly rate, however we would want to do it. I get the dynamic of, you don't want stuff driving probably all over town. That's, I guess make it a moving billboard is where I'm at with it.
Absolutely. The Eau Claire does it. I think almost everybody but us does it. The other couple small trans facilities, I think it was about 50-50 of who did it and who didn't. I think it's transit based or agency based. I don't believe there's a state regulation on it. The previous transit manager just said, I want plain, simple buses. And I think there's a happy medium in there. I think Eau Claire's a little over. It's filled with their wraps and everything. And I think there's some opportunity to be had with that, with how much these buses are on the road and with trying to keep our rates low when everything else is going higher.
Yeah, well, I was cruising around the community and saw them quite often, and I just thought that might be a creative way to create some more revenue for your department or wherever that would go. I don't know, maybe it'd be worth looking into, and going, maybe we put a number, 5 or 6 per bus, and they could be different, maybe, I don't know. Who's on each bus or whatever, or I don't know, just throwing it out there.
Yep. Our agreement with XL Energy too, for them doing what they're doing with the bus, is those buses will have half wrap or something like that, that just says this is 100% electric. thanks to XL Energy, something like that, but
Yeah, when you can trade off like that, that
Mhm,
saves dollars, obviously. So,
absolutely. Around the shop, so one of the crew supervisors called me up. I think they had half a day that they needed to get a small project done. And this is something that we couldn't fit into the schedule last year. And we had more money in the budget for this year. And the biggest thing was kind of a lot of the topsoil was gone around the black top of the facility. And this picture is kind of a poor representation of how much dirt they brought in, but everywhere that needed black dirt, I think they brought 60 yards, or it was a decent amount brought in, and pretty big crew took care of this, put down grass seed, bunch of dirt, compacted it down, and now it's just a waiting game and lawn watering game when it's 90 degrees out. And this will start looking real nice in the next couple months after all the seed takes. Clients' residence, this was a big thing that we talked about. I just brought a yard out there, and John and I took care of it on a Thursday afternoon. And this is a client's driveway that's pretty tight in the bus, as you can see in that top pic. But it's doable. You just have to take your time. And you can see everywhere where over here as well, inside corner, and then the outside corner here, depending on which way you come into this driveway. But got it all tamped down, seeded, and then the next day, somebody else drives through it.
Oh, gee.
So then that driver and I went back out there, and of course it was too muddy for us to do much with, but we fixed it. And then a day and a half later, a girl drove through it again. So out came the snowplow stakes, inside and outside. So they really have to watch themselves now. This month's focus, after we went from 5 routes down to 2.5 daily, gave us a lot more opportunity to get stuff done on the buses. Lately, we've been doing all our own oil changes in-house, and then doing our own tires in-house. That's been a huge savings, takes a lot of pressure off the highway department when we're asking them to help fix our issues. Bus repairs, this is currently what's not working. One of the older buses, 312, the AC isn't working. These buses, someone might ask, why do these buses keep going through AC issues? Well, it's just a lot of line to run to the back, and drive on Crescent and Main Street a little bit by Culver's there within the back of these buses. But easy fix, just this is the time to do it. And then 317, which you see in this picture, was the one that got into that accident last fall, and it's back from us and put it into service the next day. So on the route, this month's focus back in May was exposure. We met with the Human Services CSP team, and they have caseworkers that help out individuals with rides to appointments, rides to work. And a lot of times these individuals can ride the community route, but they don't know how, or they don't know where it goes. And myself and the team members and the clients all met at Human Services last month, went through our brochure, the table on the route schedule, and then we all got on the bus and we rode it for an hour. They said, oh, this is where this goes. This is the way it goes. There's multiple ways to get to Northtown, but the bus doesn't go on Broadway the normal way you'd think it goes. It goes through the residential neighborhoods. So stuff like that. A lot of these people would ride the doorstop bus when they could be riding the free community bus. A lady would ride it by the public library to work. Well, the community bus goes by there at 37 after, and she needs to be to Perkins by the top of the hour, and it gets her there 1 block away with 10 minutes to spare. And then where this picture is from, we did a neighbor's resident outing. We took about 6 wheelchair individuals on the bus with Alyssa from the neighbors, and we took them out to Butch's Bay for a pontoon outing for the day. And it was a pretty awesome day that we were happy to be a part of. And anytime that we can work with fellow organizations in the county is good.
Any questions for Austin? Gary?
You're talking about that electric bus, how Excel wants to put a part wrap around it or whatever. Did Excel help to subsidize the buying of that bus? Okay. Which I didn't know, so.
They're doing all the electrical install. The state and federal transit are paying for 80%. And then of the buses, and I think 90% of the install. XL Energy and then MJ Electric is taking care of all of the facility upgrades and that. And with the work that they've put into with engineering out what they need, that's where they're at on where they fit into the puzzle.
So then they're not charging Dunn County Transit for the work, or?
It was $40,000 to install the main. I'm definitely not a Excel engineer, but the main facility box out by the road. And then we are ran all the way with conduit up to the side of the facility right now. I can have more information for you at the next meeting too on that.
So is there a time frame on that, Austin? I mean, 10 years down the road, you still gonna have that wrap, or?
We can do what we need to.
Well, I was just
I
wondering,
haven't thought too much about it yet, to be honest.
get the bus first, right?
Yeah, and the bus doesn't come with it. We can have it. I think we have a lot of sway in what size, what it looks like. We can go through all that. Their team volunteered to put the legwork in to design it for us and give us a proof and stuff like that. So we can figure that out when we finally get them here. Hopefully months, not years down the road.
Anything else? If not, I guess we can end the transit meeting. Adjourn.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take 2 minutes before. Too much talking, I guess.
Okay, we'll let you this time.
Okay. Okay, we call June Highway Committee meeting to order. Call a roll. All members, committee members are present, along with Dustin and someone else.
Lee Balsiger, who took Dustin's spot, Highway Department.
Oh, nice. Nice to meet you.
Nice to be here.
I'm sure we had a chance all to look at the minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Are there any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. To approve. Opposed? Carried, they're approved. Public comment, do we have any? Nothing? Okay. Items placed at the request of the chair, there's none. Staff reports, start with Commissioner Binder's report.
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Obviously, introduced Lee Balsiger, who's the engineer superintendent at the highway department, who started about 3 weeks ago. I'm glad to have him on board. He comes from the DOT, which is a great resource to have, and a lot of his expertise is great to have at Dunn County. So looking forward to working with Lee and for years to come. So we'll just go through some of our daily operations. Obviously, we just we do our routine maintenance of the roadways, shouldering, pothole patching, spray patching. We continue to do that as needed. A lot of our staff is actually put on the road projects that we're currently doing right now. So that's where a lot of our staff are currently. We do obviously a routine maintenance of our equipment. Like I said, it's an ongoing process to keep our equipment going. So we did complete the herbicide spraying on the county roadway right away. That has completed approximately, I would say probably 2 weeks ago. We completed the entire Dunn County roadway system. And actually the state requested that we spray half of the state roads. So we did, I believe, basically from I-94 north that we sprayed this year, and actually just wrapped that up, I believe on Monday of this week. So we are getting the state on board with that to try to fight this invasive. And like I said, we were trying to do everything we can to help that operation and decrease our mowing costs as much as possible. So it is a growth inhibitor that we do spray in there as well to try to limit the growth of the invasive weeds, and then also any type of noxious weeds that are not considered natural Wisconsin species. So that's what we're trying to do. We are.
Can I interject there a little bit?
Yeah.
Dustin, as you know, I got a phone call.
Yep.
Gentleman in Sand Creek had some fancy plants that he planted there, and I'm not making light of it, but some of the drift got out there, just so everyone knows. And I don't know if this is the place to bring it up or not, but he was wondering if we could bypass from his fence line to fence line. Is there anything we can do with that? Is that a hassle?
It is an inconvenience, I would say. Can it be done? Yes. We would just have to know these locations. And I know some other counties do. They post areas that they do not spray.
Okay.
Obviously, our big concern too is the organic farming. That's a big deal. Thing is, not to pick on farmers, but it's starts creeping into the road right away quite often. Is what we see a lot of. Honestly, this is the second year we've done the herbicide spraying.
Mhm.
And last year we did get a lot of phone calls wondering what's going on. It was the biggest thing. This year, honestly, I think I received 2 phone calls, including that one.
Yeah.
So people, I think they're understanding of it, and our staff are trained. We did put them through a course. We put 2 individuals that lead the operation through a certified pesticide training program. So obviously we are working with them to try to obviously apply these at the right times. we can't be doing it with 30-mile-an-hour winds. If we have rain in the forecast, an hour before we're done spraying or after we're done spraying, it's like, we're not gonna be doing that. So we are learning from it. And yes, we can address something like that.
I think that's, just personally, and I don't know what the rest of the committee feels, we should really look into it for this. This guy he was very upset.
Yep.
And we had to measure from the center line and we were about 10 feet onto his from the right of way and.
Yep.
He said if he sued us for that, and it would cripple a county, he said. Well, but I'm not, he's,
Correct.
you know where it is?
I know
I
the
can-
general area. I
can
don't
show
know
you.
exactly.
Okay. It's where he's got that sign up there, this prairie restoration.
Yeah, and I did have one of our supervisors that is a certified applicator is take a look at it. And yeah, I think it's basically, like I said, it was overspray just with the wind and stuff like that.
I know. He knew that too, but he was quite upset. So I thought, I want to bring it up so everyone knows about it. So.
And we it seems like we have such a fine line of perfect optimal conditions to work in.
Right.
So I do believe we do push that sometimes, and guys don't want to work for 3 hours and then shut it down for the next 7 hours. And but if we have to, that's what we have to do.
Can you make some kind of like addition to your sprayer? Either like your nozzle size, to eliminate the drift? I know there's a lot of different ways you can do it on a sprayer.
We made some adjustments this year. We actually had the sprayer in the back of the truck. So we put it in the front of the truck now. So it does, we have two options. We basically can spray 10 feet or we can spray 20 feet. So there is times where we could narrow that up. They like to continue, obviously, consistency throughout. But if we know areas that are concerned, maybe we can do that. And like I said, it's a learning process. We're working out the kinks as we go forward. So, and yes, we definitely need to make some adjustments with it. So.
And you also killed my asparagus, so.
If you maintain your ditches yourself, you wouldn't have this problem. either.
I'm just
You
kidding
got out too late to get it.
No. I'm just kidding you. I'm sorry I just wanted to bring it up, so.
It's exactly how much right away? It's like from the center of the road to how many feet
So,
from the
so.
edge of the road or what?
So
exactly?
what we're spraying is, so we have 33 feet from center line to the right of way.
Right away.
So the maxus will spray is 20 feet from basically the shoulder. So it will get the entire road right away.
I see a couple places along the road there, it took a row or two of crop.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, that's something we may have to adjust and
But if
Look
they're in the
at-
right of way, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Then that's fine. You shouldn't be planting it. I do. I suppose I'm too close in some spots, but when you get out 10 feet out into the field, that's a little. different.
usually a good rule of thumb is the power poles are usually within 2 or 3 feet inside the right of way. So when you see zigzagging in and out of the power poles, that's a good sign that that's encroaching on the right of way. But like I said, we need to make some adjustments and we do.
I just wanted to bring it up, so.
Talking about the right of way, I remember on Highway B seeing some of those yellow stakes where the right of way is, and in a couple of years, they're gone. I don't know what happened to them, but
At night.
no, I think the, equipment hit it and knocked them over.
Oh, yeah. That's what happens when the price of corn is as high as it is. It's much as we can get. So that's basically our daily operations. Obviously, we are working in the office here. Lee's trying to get caught up to speed with providing estimates and stuff for the towns. We do quite a bit of work for the towns, and like I said, that's something we'd like to continue. We are looking at doing some in-house engineering with some curb grades and stuff for some of our projects. So we're looking at completing that stuff in-house here going forward. Just some of the project updates. So We are complete basically with as much work as we can do on our County Road Q project. It's a 1.125 mile section of County Road Q from Downing 170 north. That's a continuation of the project we started 2 years ago, and we just basically had to push it off because of budget cuts. So we did finish that this year. It is gravelled. We are looking at pulverizing it. The pulverizer actually came today. So we will be looking at pulverizing that roadway and hopefully paving it here in probably a couple weeks or so. Our other project is pretty much wrapped up from what we can do at this point in time. On County Road V, we did a 3-mile section of highway up there between Ridgeland and Sand Creek. That is a continuation of the past 2 years from County Road V. So Haas did haul the base on that project. I did hire them to complete that work. Based on the cost, it went well. So pulverizer is there today to start grinding that. So we should be able to start paving that shortly. Anticipate hopefully next year we can wrap V up approximately a 12-mile stretch of roadway that we looking at completing in a 4-year period. So we did start County Road Z down by Downing or Downsville, I mean. It's a 3.8 mile stretch of highway down there. We started putting in culverts, which there's quite a few of them on that project, and we started opening up an area for borrow fill with a local landowner down there that we can utilize some borrow fill from. So we're looking at starting that process. I would anticipate approximately 3 to 4 months for that project to be complete. There's a lot of work on that, especially when the road's 60 years old plus, and we're trying to improve it. So a lot of work involved with that one. We did finally get the DNR and Army Corps approval for that project to start it. So that's what we were kind of waiting for. Ordering culverts, which are astronomically overpriced this year, but nothing we can do about it. So starting that project, and like I said, 3 to 4 months to complete it. The County Road H project from double H to M, just north of Elk Mound, that has been awarded to Haas and Sons. They are working with the contract. The DOT and Haas is working on a contract to complete that project this year. I'm anticipating probably sometime in July to start that project. That is a let project, so the DOT basically takes full control over it. It is an 80-20 match, and we basically foot the 20% when it's all done. So like I said, I'm anticipating that probably right around July with an anticipated start date on that, which a lot of individuals in that area will be happy about. Get quite a few phone calls on that one. In our County Road B project from Highway 1229 to Packer Drive, we continue to do the design. Design is basically 90% complete on that project. We are in the process of purchasing real estate. We do have to have 6 parcels. The largest one being kind of right by the Quick Trip intersection there. Due to a turn lane that we're putting in, they will have to relocate their car wash sign. So there will be some parcels that we will have to purchase. There is some little purchases up by Love's intersection as well with the railroad. Due to improvements of the intersections and turn lanes and widening for semi turning movements. So that continues. So we'll see what happens with that going forward. Project basically needs to be wrapped up and ready for bid here in January is when this project will be let. So a lot of work to do yet, I guess, when it comes to the real estate side of things, especially with commercial industry that you have to deal with. So looking at trying to get that wrapped up here probably this fall. Going into the bridge project updates, we did have Larson Contractors, that was an 80-20 match for this project to be completed, to be replaced up in Connorsville, the County Road K Bridge. Larson has, this is actually old news, they have both abutments poured now. And I did show a picture of the construction update in the packet. Just showing one of the abutments is poured, and then, like I said, that if you mirror that, that's what the other abutment looks like. So that is like I said, a 52-day contract to complete that work, and I believe they said they're gonna be completed on that project here by probably after the 4th of July. So it's going well. Nothing overly concerning with that. I did get a email just recently for a pre-con meeting for our County Road Q Bridge that's going to get replaced by Radke Contractors. That's looking at probably the end of June here to start that, with probably, if I had to guess, a couple weeks after our pre-con meeting is when that will start. So probably after the 4th of July, that bridge structure will start getting replaced. It's a small span bridge. It's only, I think, 30 feet long. So that should go very, very quickly to get that replaced. So other than that, I guess that's all I have for our everyday operations and project updates. Any questions? If not, we can go into the financials. I did provide in the packet the highway financials through the month of May. If you look at that first page, that summary page, it'll be just right after that picture there. If we look at our revenue, we've brought in about 2.2 million of actual revenue, with approximately $3.2 million worth of expenditures through the month of May. It is kind of misleading. We do not have all of our revenue in there. We're actually waiting from the state some of our April revenue yet. So like I said, it is misleading. So we are monitoring that, looking at that, and if we do a current projection based on our revenue and expenditures, we would be approximately $258,000 over budget if things continue the way it is right now. So like I said, we're in the early stages of that, but we are monitoring that basically all the time. So any questions with the financials?
So that minus 258, how would that compare to last year?
Considerably better.
So going in the right direction. Then.
But like I said, this is early.
Yeah.
We haven't had the big expenditures yet. When we start putting asphalt down, that's when things really take off. And there's, like I said, some things that are not necessarily, I would say, out of our control, but when it comes to Mother Nature and winter maintenance, it's one of those things yet we got to get through October, November, and December. So we try everything we can. So like I said, this is just a projection. So like I said, we are monitoring that, and hopefully we can see that look in the positive direction. Well, you never know. The last 2 years have been very, very good. So I'm not a ski buff or anything like that. So we could get rid of the winters in Wisconsin. I'd be okay with that. So
Good luck with that.
any other questions regarding the financials? It's a lot to look at. Like I said, I like to look at the summary page, and then if there's any glaring expenditures, and I don't see anything at this point in time. And like I said, you'll start seeing that county construction, start taking off, expense wise, once we start getting that paving operations under.
So how are you doing with, the level of staff? Because I know a while back you had signs out there hiring. Are you kind of filled up then now or?
So we have 50 employees total at Dunn County Highway. We have 37 operators, 5 mechanics, and the rest is office staff or parts staff. We do have basically 1 mechanic position that is still open. We are reviewing that if it's needed. And it's very difficult to get individuals currently, especially mechanic positions. We do require CDLs, and there's not too many mechanics that have CDLs. So we are reviewing that policy as well. I am working with HR on that and actually sent out a survey to all 72 counties on what they're doing regarding CDL policies. So I'm looking at getting that information and provide that as well to help. I don't want to say lure people in here, but just get individuals interested in working for Dunn County. It's a difficult answer, just because there's days like today, we don't need 50 employees when it's a rain day. We are patrolling, obviously, for any type of washouts or trees or ditching or anything that's a concern. And then the next day is we don't have enough employees. So it's one of those. But I think the number of employees that we have is good right now. Like I said, in a given snowstorm, everybody's on deck, working. So
Thank you.
we're making ends meet, and like I said, going forward, we'll do the best we can with the work staff we got.
So with your CDL for your mechanics, do they even need a CDL to pull it in and out of the shop?
Not on our property, but
Okay.
obviously if they go out on the road, they have to have a class B minimum. Unless they're haven't pulling a trailer or a semi or something like that. A lot of counties have kind of retracted the class A. And going kind of to the class B, because a lot of our stuff is dump trucks and stuff like that. We haven't had such an issue with our operators and finding individuals with CDLs with that. Since we do get a lot of individuals that come from the private sector to the public sector. It's just our mechanic positions is very, very difficult. And the last 3 mechanics that we hired did not have CDLs. They did get the CDLs themselves, and the county did allow them to utilize Dunn County equipment to test and stuff like that. In February of this year, actually, the federal regulations now is you have to go through a certified schooling school to get your CDL now. So that's really been difficult. It's not just $100 to go get your CDL now, or a couple $100. It's more like $3,000 to $4,000 now.
Really?
Yeah, you gotta go to school.
You have to go to CVTC or have some accredited,
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know.
That was what I was curious if it was, the reason they didn't want to do it was a cost or the schooling issue, so.
Yep. So like I said, it's a difficult process, and that's what I'm working with on HR to see what we can and can't do.
So when they go to, does the county pay for them to go to school or to take the class?
So
or-
we've been contacting CVTC. That's the closest facility that we
Okay.
can, they will actually come to our facility and train the individual. Currently, from what they tell us, if it's a municipal employee, the county has to pay for it. So that's what the CVT is telling us now, that the student can't pay for it. It has to be paid for by that municipality. So like I said, we're looking at it as an option, as if the county is gonna help reimburse that. If they pay the upfront cost and the employee's gotta pay it back. We're looking at different options. I mean, there's 5 or 6 different options we can have right now at this point in time. But it is a big concern, obviously, with the new federal regulations. It's not as simple as it used to be, so. Any other questions? If not, I guess we'll go into the 2021 annual operations report. I don't know if many of you had time to look through this. I don't know if we want to go in full detail of it. I'm sure it's going to be at the county board meeting tonight, is what I'm assuming.
No, we're good, I think.
The biggest takeaway that I want to just kind of mention is our county road pavement condition. I don't know, on one of these, on this one sheet, obviously with the amount of money that we have at highway, and we try the best we can to try to keep up. The big glaring concern I have is that blue line, that blue box that says condition state 5 and 6. My big concern is that number is very, very large. Our current budget, we are not putting money towards those condition state roads. We don't have the money to do it. We're putting all of our money into those condition states 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. And we still can't keep up with that. So my concern is that 5 to 6 are gonna be 3, 4s and 1, 2s before we know it, in the next 10 years. So that's a huge concern. I just kind of want to point that out. Obviously, I did provide a map, the next page, of what roads are road condition ratings. Obviously, you see a sea of blue there, 5s and 6s. We are putting overlays, we are putting chip seals on, we are doing everything we can to help preserve them. But like I said, it's only a temporary Band-Aid to try to prolong these as much as we can. So like I said, that's a big concern I have, and I just wanted to be made that known. And obviously in 2021, we obviously did have just over 9% reduction in our overall budget from the previous year. Just over $11 million annual budget. Obviously the costs keep going up, but our budget went down. So that's another glaring issue. We do have these 80-20 projects that we need to take advantage of, and there's quite a few of them on the horizon that we will be completing here in the next few years. So like I said, that's one thing that I guess we'll have to address going forward. And obviously this year, our budget is much larger than that. It's approximately 14.8 this year in 2022. But just be aware that is due to ARPA funding. So, and there is borrowed money involved with that as well. So, I just wanted to be aware of that situation. Like I said, that's the biggest glaring issue that I see in the 2021 operations report. We did obviously do considerably less construction projects. We only did 5.7 miles of roadway last year. And far less maintenance we did last year. And that's why I'm really glad that our winter maintenance costs were well below average. I did not put that in there, but on average, our annual cost for winter maintenance is usually right around 1.2 million. So last year was right around 830,000, so it was considerably less, but that's, like I said, that's changes every year due to Mother Nature, so.
And maybe you'll have to do changes as far as how much you plow and I don't know.
But that
Just
9% like reduction, was that mandated by the county? Was that tax levy money taken off? Or, I mean, who told you, hey, there's 9%? You had to,
So there was a reduction in tax levy. Yes.
where'd that money go? Human services? Probably so. Not the neighbors.
Comment.
Plead the fifth.
Just ask it.
But yeah, like I said, I just, I don't know if you have any questions regarding the annual report.
No, it looked very good though. I did go through it. Looked very
And,
good.
and I apologize, like I said, I did not have any information on that wheel tax. And like I said, going forward, it was my intent to do that.
Question on the painting. Is there a regulation or something that on traffic count, they have to have the outside line and the white line? Or,
Yeah, so basically it is based on traffic volumes. So a lot of, I could basically tell you a lot of county roads in Dunn County would not warrant the edge line painting. We do it just because it's an added safety concern. And all these, obviously some roads, they're so deteriorated that it's not worth putting on. What we'd like to see is at a minimum an 11-foot travel lane. And some of our roads are 22 foot and it's hard to get that on there without painting the gravel shoulders. So some roads have it, some roads don't. And it's, if we can get it on there, we will put it on there.
In your opinion, with that like 9% decrease in budget, can you make that up on an 80-20?
No, only because that 80-20 is not guaranteed. So not every year we may or may not have a 80-20 project.
But it helps.
Yeah, and I don't know, I mean, we can go into so I did provide obviously our annual budget dating back into 1992. It's like I said, that's also very concerning. Obviously, if we look at the overall highway budget, it's been the same since roughly right around that 2002. We've had the same budget all the way for the last 20 years.
But just make sure you bring that up for the full county board, because you kind of get them on board. The
Yep.
more they hear about it, it's not coming as a shock to you and say, hey, why are they being checked on and not, be able to keep up with the roads? Because coming in from that Red Sea Potato down to 94 or down, I drove my pickup in today, that's ridiculous.
Oh,
It looks like a basketball going down there,
Mhm. But there's a lot of them like it.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out, I mean, 2017, we had a $5 million levy and now we're down to a little over 3 million. I mean, that's a huge
Mhm.
reduction in budget.
Right.
I mean,
In
5
a
to
short
3.
time.
Yeah, that's 3.7 now, but still it's $1,000,003. And expenses have gone up since 2017. I mean, that's a huge thing to point out, I think.
Yeah, really it is.
The levy is actually $1,000,003 down from 2017 and expenses have gone up. What, 30%, 40%?
Yeah.
What that number was just in the last year. Expense number.
You're what, I guess,
Percentage wise, as far as cost of material.
well, I just, like our biggest thing, our asphalt is probably 20% from last year to this year, cost increase.
And your culverts and your trucks and
And culverts were 50% and everything varies different percentage wise, but if I had to guess, I would say overall probably 20% increase.
Could you lock in your diesel fuel at all?
So we bid that out every time we need a load. A tanker load. So we bid it out
That
every
tanker
time.
load don't last that long, does it?
No. And a lot of facilities, they won't bid it through the whole year.
Yeah,
And
that
just because of
changes all,
it literally changes
yeah,
minutes. Every
Yeah.
minute's got a
Yeah.
different price.
right.
So you
So
have to bid out every load, huh?
every load of fuel that comes into our shop gets bid out.
Hmm.
It's based on the
That's
market.
obviously doing your due diligence to get the lowest cost you can and appreciate it, but seems
Yeah,
like that
and-
should be more of a monthly thing or something like that, but
And mind you, what you see at the pump, we at highway because of the tax exemption
Yeah.
is, it's roughly 50 to 60 cents lower.
Yeah.
What you see at the pump.
And plus you get the tanker load discount.
Yes.
Well, the county's either gonna have to borrow more money or have less services.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yeah, like I said, it's frustrating when, we're doing less and less every year and the costs keep going up, so. Like I said, we do with what we can, but. Some point in time, we're gonna have to make some changes, cause. Otherwise, we're gonna have gravel roads before you know it. So. I guess, if we don't have anything else, we can move on, or. I just wanted to give, I guess, an update on that bipartisan infrastructure law. Obviously, there was, billions of dollars that was coming to Wisconsin for transportation. There was an excitement, in the state of Wisconsin, everybody get on board and get applications into the DOT and get some money to help funding, transportation. We did not elect to pursue any funding for the 2022 fiscal year. Due to the nature of our current budget and not having to invest, into a project that we don't have money for. But we did apply for 3 STP rural applications going into the 23 through 27 fiscal years. These are 80-20 match projects with design and construction costs. So the 3 projects that we submitted for that were County Road J just south of town. Basically from the city limits down to 420th or 410th Avenue, which we call Ball Diamond Road. That road, and then County Road K from D to 72, and then County Road D from 72 to C down towards O'Galley. We applied for those projects, and like I said, they're not guaranteed. It's just something that we have to get in there to see if the state will award it going forward. We did also apply for a STP local project on County Road Double B from Highway 12 to 25 by John Deere Farm Equipment there. That road is deteriorated and needs some help and widening and some intersection upgrades and safety upgrades on that road. So like I said, we applied for that. We will probably know more here in August, I believe, is when they are going to be awarding those projects. Very competitive. Like I said, this previous cycle for the 2022 cycle, the DOT, I believe there was 268 applications submitted in the 2022 cycle statewide. And that includes towns, counties, cities. And out of the 268 applications, there was just a small handful of projects awarded.
Any around here at all?
St. Croix and Chippewa did get a local project, very small projects. But a lot of it, majority it was on the east part of the state and down south. So like I said, we'll.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to our representatives.
From what I'm hearing is it's a staffing thing, so. But yeah, that's like I said, we're hopeful, like I said, going forward, maybe we can get some projects accepted and. Help with the funding situation we have, so.
So those ones that were awarded though, you still had to pay some engineering fees up front on those, right?
Correct, you had to have a plan ready project, so basically there was.
So if you didn't get that, you just lost that money. basically.
Yes, and it was 100% local costs for the design.
Right, right.
That was not
I
included
think
with
that was
this.
important to point out on some of that.
That's
Yes.
why you didn't.
Yeah, we didn't have anything budgeted for
But I-
design or anything.
When you hear
so-
that 80-20 and we didn't even apply, I mean, and then if nobody knows that very little got accepted and we had to pay up front,
Correct. Yep.
it makes a difference, I think. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
And I know some of the towns, they did put some applications
Yeah.
in and I think they ate that cost, like I said, and I know they did
I
not
know
get
several
awarded,
that did. That's,
so.
Mm.
Like I said, I was gonna let the first cycle everybody get excited about and then
I think that makes sense.
not get everybody's hopes up, so. That's pretty much that on the BIL funding. The 2023 capital improvement highway requests. I just wanted to let you know, so we did start that process. Obviously, some of our, the CIP requests were approved at the last county board meeting. So we did obviously have some equipment in there, equipment needs. We have already started the process on 4 tandem axle plow trucks. With international plow trucks, we have started that process to get that order put in. Mind you, these trucks, we will not see them starting until probably the fall, not the fall, probably the spring or summer of 23. So right now it's a year out before we can even get these trucks. So like I said, this will not impact our 2022 budget, but we got to start the process sooner than later. I do have our shop foreman working on putting a spec together for a sign truck, which was actually put in for a request in 23. Similar situation. It's a year out before we will see that truck. We do have a current sign truck that is giving us issues. We did have to put a new engine in it this year. And we still kind of have some issues with that truck, so we are looking to obviously replace that and at least start the process. So that's basically what we've done for the CIP requests. I just wanted to let you guys know that we have looked into getting some of this equipment started and for purchasing in 23, not 22. I gotta reiterate that it's not affecting our 2022 budget. So we do not pay for this equipment until it's complete and at our shop. So, and we're anticipating probably, like I said, spring or summer of 23. And obviously the costs of those have gone up exponentially as well. Right now, to get a plow truck, a tandem axle plow truck is about $260,000 equipped. Just the year before, it was about 230. So $30,000 for the same piece of equipment. And it's unbelievable what a sign truck goes for today too.
150,000. Hey,
That's $100,000 off.
really?
we had somebody come in and give us a ballpark price, and they said it's about 260 to 280 for basically a flatbed truck with an auger on it and a basket that can be articulated out.
Hmm.
260 to $280,000. So like I said, we're looking at just seeing what we can and can't do. We got to start the process sometime. So.
Whatever come of the skid steer thing with John Deere, do you ever trade or?
So we have that for one more year, and we are switching them out here in July. So we will have that new skid steers here in July for one more year. And then we will have to look at renegotiating or rolling out a new possible program with somebody else, or we hold on to the skid steers we got. So one or the other.
You found money somewhere to purchase them or
Yeah.
thought you were looking for, trying to come up with money for the deal that you found them?
Yeah, so we'd our finance department and myself, we went through and we did find and I believe this was probably in February, I believe, meeting we had that showed we had a surplus of construction money due to it was a double expenditure of our labor in our construction budget and our administrative budget. So there was, I believe it was like just right around $500,000. So we did put a portion of that money towards purchasing equipment that was in dire need that we needed to get done this year. So that's where that's coming from. Any questions regarding the CIP requests? If not, like I said, we can, I don't know if we want to go over the annual budget. Like I said, we kind of touched base with it, but obviously, like I said, our budget has been pretty consistent for the last 20 years. With a reduction in tax levy starting basically in 2018. Or 2019 is when it dramatically changed. So, and another big glaring thing, and like I said, in 2022 is if you notice the ARPA funding and the borrowing is approximately $5 million. So.
That was that, our budget would be like 9.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be looking good.
No,
So.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions on Dustin's report? Hearing none, we'll go into vouchers. Anybody have any questions on the vouchers?
Hopefully I can answer them.
I guess I got just a question. I see fuel synergy cooperative, small amounts. Is that trucks just driving out in the countryside and they need to run it out, or what? There's,
So Synergy supplies our fuel at our outline shops.
will that a little bit of money?
That might be some of
There's a
it.
couple of them.
4921,
One was 165 and 4921.
2302.
Yeah,
And I know we do fuel up sometimes with some of our pickups and stuff up in
Okay.
Ridgeland.
okay, and
Yeah.
that's
And
probably
That's what
what
I'm thinking those were.
that's what I was just wondering. So,
Yeah, so I'm
That's fine.
assuming that's what that is.
yeah, that's fine. Any other questions?
I can tell you, I harp on our crew that they will fuel up at our shop. So. And I know there's times, like I said, we do. In a pinch, they will go to the gas station if they have to, so. And we do have an account set up with them, so. I don't know if Sarah, if that is tax-free or not. I don't know. I'd have to look into that.
We do some type of tax. They give us the state piece back, and then when we pay the bill, there's an adjustment on there.
Okay.
I know it's Stout. It's Stout. We had a card that was tax exempt when we get fuel and stuff like that, the state
Yep.
vehicles.
That's our. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve the vouchers? Motion been made and seconded. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, approve equipment bids.
So obviously, we need to purchase plow blades. So we did, submit the RFP requests for that equipment, for the winter season. The numbers are actually lower. So we basically come up with a quantity of, based on historical quantities of materials that we need every given year. So obviously there is times where we can spend $150,000 a year on plow blades. So Dan, our shop foreman, put together a quantity of plow blades that we needed. Based on, I believe he's got 40 of the carbide inserts and so on and so forth. So the individuals that submitted a bid result through us, I guess what we have highlighted in yellow there, from Roland Machinery, would be the most cost effective, due to their ability to supply everything we need. Obviously equipment blades, they do not have greater wing blades, which makes it difficult. I know in the past we have mixed and matched. I don't necessarily like that, going through 4 or 5 different vendors to get plow blades. And they don't like that as well. I can tell you that. So I guess my recommendation is to go with Roland Machinery, in the amount of $59,415 for the plow blades that, for this winter's snow removal.
You want to make, Mark?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept the Roland Machinery plow blade bid.
Is there a second? Second. Any other questions on it? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Skid steer jackhammer.
So I provided, so this is a issue we have, that's come up, we've known it for years, but it's just getting to the point where we can't utilize it. But we do have a jackhammer that we can mount on our skid steers. Obviously yesterday is a prime example of when you get high temps, concrete expands, and we have blow ups. So we utilize this piece of equipment to remove the concrete, and the one that we have is leaking. It's been an issue. It doesn't work, and it's been an ongoing battle. We do have a jackhammer that we utilize for our backhoe, bigger piece of equipment, but obviously there's times where we don't need that, or the backhoe's now on a different job site. So we do need this jackhammer. We did submit a proposals locally for the jackhammer that we were looking for. Bobcat Plus and Roland Machinery sent in the bid proposals for it. Bobcat Plus came in considerably cheaper, which is a very good jackhammer from what we were told. I believe that's kind of what we have currently, that has served us for many years, but like I said, it's seen its age, and it just needs to be updated and replaced. and kind of just to reiterate how the funding would be utilized is, like I said, when we looked through in February and found approximately, like I said, I think it was right around $500,000 worth of duplicated labor in our construction, that we are looking at utilizing some of our big needs purchases for some equipment. So I guess that's what my suggestion is to proceed with the jackhammer that Bobcat Plus has provided a cost for.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any other questions on it? I have one. Where's Bobcat Plus out of?
They're out of Eau Claire.
Okay. Okay. No other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Just one question. Does it kind of worry you that you have to go back and you find where the billing wasn't done correctly and there's like $500,000 just laying around that you didn't realize? Is that a concern?
I guess obviously I would always say it's concerning.
Okay.
But it's nice to find that early and obviously not have an issue throughout the year. And I guess I'm leaning on it's nice to have a surplus and not have enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Find some more of them, man.
Yeah.
yeah, going forward, like I said, it's we're looking at it a lot closer.
And the only other question is, like when I seen these blades for all your snow plows and that, do you make very much money by going to like scrap steel then? 'Cause you must have a lot of scrap steel that you can go and alter or toys or someplace.
Yep. And that's what we're doing currently. Actually, we are a lot of times we take our stuff to Catiners.
Okay, that's a better than going over to alters?
Actually, I just had this discussion this week with our management staff about finding the best price. And like I said, we like to try to keep everything internally, like within Dunn County if we can. But I believe Catiners takes it to alters. So maybe we just haul it there and get a better price. I don't know. So we are looking into that. But yeah, we have quite a bit of steel, like I said, that we do. And a lot of these blades that we've actually went to we utilize rubber blades.
Mm.
So they got rubber with carbide inside. We have had very, very good luck with those.
And that'd be easier on the highways too, wouldn't it?
It's better for the highways. It actually cuts more. So it actually is better when you got a road that's uneven. It's got a lot more flexibility.
Flexes, yeah.
So you wouldn't think they would last long, but they last twice as long as a normal carbide blade. So, but they are more expensive, but
Yeah.
we get a lot of good results with them, so. And then I guess the last thing is the skid steer post pounder. So this was brought up, I believe a couple committee meetings ago, that we were looking at this as a purchase item due to the large amount of guardrail that's out on the interstate, going up the Knapp Hill is what we call it. It's getting to the point where an old auger system is not the ideal way of doing it, obviously, with these steel posts that everything's going to instead of the wood posts. So we're looking at getting a post pounder for our skid steer. Obviously, we can make up the money on this pretty simply on the interstate to fix a lot of the guardrail damage that happens. It's unbelievable how people run into the guardrail on a dry day. And
Too much salt, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, too much salt.
it's either that or sleeping. I don't know what it is, but
Well, I own a piece of the guardrail on Knapp Hill when I fell asleep one night.
Oh.
Seriously, unfortunately.
Wakes you up quick when you hit it though.
Yeah, it did.
And it's even worse when you got guardrail on both sides of the road. It's just like ping pong.
Yeah.
Back
So
and forth.
just a dumb question, probably dumb, but just learning here some of this stuff yet, but so if someone hits the guardrail on Knapp Hill, like we're talking, and it's within our county, we go out and fix it, and then the state pays us back for part of that or something, some of it, or
Correct. So if it's,
figured that's what it was.
if it's on the county system,
Yeah,
any damage that's reportable.
Yeah.
We can actually send an invoice to the insurance company
gotcha.
for that, for the damages.
Yeah.
A lot of times, some stuff is reportable, some isn't. So it's at our cost to fix it.
Yeah,
On the state system, we do all the maintenance and repairs for the DOT. Same similar situation. If it's reported, it goes, we send the invoice to the DOT goes after the insurance company.
so it'd be the reported ones that would help
Yes,
get back some of the cost of the piece of equipment and stuff.
Yes.
It's like a rental fee or whatever.
correct.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So you're
Yeah.
not talking about our insurance, you're talking about the victims.
Correct.
Yes.
If it's a reported accident and they have insurance, we can charge them to repair the damages.
That's where my comment came from, that I own some of that guardrail.
So yeah, I guess that's like I said, to have the right piece of equipment to fix this properly is what we need. Obviously, with an auger system, you're drilling a hole and everything's angled, and this is just, it's a lot more convenient. So I guess obviously you see the two individuals, the companies that provided a cost. They're identical machines. And Tractor Central actually supplies it for Roland. So
I was just gonna say.
I guess my recommendation is to purchase that through Tractor Central in the amount of 11,543.
I move we go with Tractor Central for the postal pounder.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any other questions on it? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Next time, Mark, we can put your name on it if you really want.
Plaque there.
Mark was here.
Yeah.
Just let us know.
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing on the action items is the O'Galley salt shed. So I've provided some information, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but there's a source well contract. There's a company over in Minnesota that's basically called Source Well. They bid out documents with contractors, any type of goods or services, basically. So looking into this salt shed down in O'Galley, there is actually a contract that we can go through with Sourcewell. Sourcewell is they've bid it out for Calhoun Superstructures. Calhoun is the manufacturer, the material manufacturer for those hoop style sheds. Structures Unlimited, I've provided the estimated cost for this hoop style shed based on what they calculated for a capacity. We would need to put a 42 by 80 foot long structure with 10-foot high walls, concrete high walls. So this is a contract that we have with the DOT. So the DOT is paying for this salt shed. Currently, we have $230,000 allocated to this salt shed. That includes the shed, any prep work, any asphalt, all the work that's completed from point A to point B on this salt shed. Like I said, Sourcewell has bid this product out already. We would not have to go through the bidding process. We are a member of Sourcewell. So Structures Unlimited is the contractor that has performed a lot of salt sheds and hoop style sheds in this area. They have actually have built the town of Red Cedars, the town of Tiffany's. I believe there's quite a few of them here in Dunn County they've actually built. Very good contractor, very good product from what I've seen. I've called around to the Tiffany, Bob Cook from Red Cedar. They are just happy with the results. So I guess that's what I would like to do is to go with Structures Unlimited under the Sourcewell contract to complete the salt shed. And I did show you some of the pictures. So some of the pictures there, that is the hoop style shed that Unlimited Structures built for Pepin County. So that actually just got put up last year. That is the exact same salt shed that would be built in O'Galley. That smaller unit, the smaller arch, the one on the left-hand side, that would be the exact same salt shed that would be put in O'Galley, except for that little bunker wall that goes down the middle for separation. We would not be putting that in since it would be all state salt supplied in this. Where Pepin County separates their county and state, we do not do that. We do have an option to put a end section on this with a roll-up garage door. It's basically a fabric door, and then it's like a boat winch crank to crank it up and down. I have elected not to go with that. It can always be added on. It's just right now that's about a $25,000 add-on. And I don't think it's warranted at this time to do something like that. So obviously, if that exact structure that's at Pepin County, and if you put an end section on it, comes out to $209,000. If we remove that end section with the garage door and all that, it comes down to about $187,000. I actually had Structures Unlimited provide me a preliminary quote basically last fall on this structure, and it was the exact same price of $187,000. So this was before anything got set in stone. So I guess that's my recommendation. Like I said, the biggest thing is going through this Sourcewell contract that we do not need to bid out. The county, basically, this Sourcewell contract does all that for us.
So does the state pay for the whole thing, whole cost?
So we will have to pay the upfront cost of that. Just say it's $230,000 to complete the whole thing. We will pay that, the county will pay it, and then they reimburse us.
And the reason that they're reimbursing us is because we use that salt on state roads.
Correct.
Okay, that's true.
So it's a state structure
And
on
we can
county
still use-
property.
And we can still use that for our county roads and the salt in there, right, or not?
Well, yes and no. So we do buy county salt. It's traditionally in our Menominee shop only. So if there is times where our outline shops that say they utilize 2 or 3 tons of salt, we do reimburse the state for it.
But it's basically just for the state salt and the state roads.
Correct.
Oh, okay. But in a pinch,
In a pinch, it can be
Borrow.
utilized. So, so I guess, like I said, that would be my recommendation is we proceed with the Structures Unlimited to put the salt shed up with the reduction of that option with the door. Like I said, that's approximately, if you take that Calhoun front end wall of 8381 plus the 5280 and the 4740 $145 off of there, and that's basically what that cost would be.
State doesn't care.
State tells me you go get it built, and when it's
There's-
done, let me know.
There's no doors on any other salt sheds. I mean.
What's the reason for it? It's just so
if
snow
you're
doesn't
gonna
blow in there?
store other stuff.
I guess the big reason is just to keep things out,
Keep
and it's
them
not, it's not a. This door is not airtight, it's
No.
not bulletproof, to
It's
keep
another thing
things
that
out.
could go wrong and you have to
Exactly.
maintain it all the time.
Crank it up
Yeah,
every time you
exactly.
go in.
It's
Yeah. And
gonna be a
the-
maintenance issue then.
And the only time we actually close our salt shed doors is in the summer. And that's just kind of a standard practice. The DNR kind of likes you to do that just to keep things in and out. But this salt shed, like I said, the states required us to build 1,000-ton capacity salt shed minimum. This shed is, like I said, a typical standard design. And this will actually take 1,400 tons. So that's if it's all the way from one end to the other. So obviously with no door, you're gonna want to keep it a little bit further back where you're not getting driving rains on it. So we might be 20 feet in before we actually start putting salt in. So
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the O'Galley Salt Shed project as submitted.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Put up the structure in Old Galley. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Right.
Opposed, carried. Okay, consideration of resolutions and ordinances to be recommended to the county board. Budget adjustment.
yeah, so I have two items on there. Obviously, the Potter Cemetery, with that fence, the Potters Group, gave the highway department, $25,000 to help offset the cost of that fence. So that's what's shown there, with the $25,000, revenue source with the $25,000 expenditure. There obviously, there was some additional costs outside of that, with prepping the road and all that stuff, but, they did put a very, very good share of it. They did pay for the entire fence. Like I said, the fence was right around 23 something. So they did pay that and then help offset some of the gravel base that we put down on there. So that's what that shows. The other one is the 199,085. That's kind of something that was lost and forgotten. This was our salt brine maker that we actually got in 2020. That we've paid for and we never got reimbursed for it. So that's what's showing there, of that 199,000. So we have submitted the paperwork to get paid for that, that the state, so the state can purchase, their salt brine maker.
Just an oversight, huh?
Yeah, and I just wanted to make note on that budget impact line. I forgot to add the salt brine maker, so I'll have to add that to the budget impact and have a running total. So I just want to make that known.
Sure. Well, I suppose we need a motion to move this forward,
Yep.
so.
Yep.
Yeah, I have one.
I move that we move budget adjustments forward to the county.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay. Looks like we're at next meeting date, July 13th. And Dustin suggested maybe we go back to the highway shop. If that's all right with everyone. It's a little easier for him. The meetings in the.
Transit and highway would be there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, basically I would, we have a committee room and I would record it on my laptop here and can get an additional microphone. It just, like I said, it's a lot easier for me not having to run down here and try to set this whole thing up.
It's fine. And in the past,
So-
coffee was made.
Coffee was there,
So,
so.
so anybody have anything else? Not, we're adjourned.
Sounds good.
Good job, Dustin. Nice to meet you, Lee.
Yeah.